What up, everybody? In Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Kanan grew up until he was 16 years old, thinking that DEFCON was his daddy. The rest of the Thomas family, Marvin, Lulu, and Jukebox, also believed this lie, as well as everybody else in the streets. But the truth is, Detective Malcolm Howard is Kanan's real father. But Rock lied about this because she didn't want anyone to know she was messing with a cop. She also had an extra incentive to cover this up because Rock was Howard's CI from 1974 to 1976. If this information ever got into the streets, it would tarnish Rock's name forever and also likely put a target on her back for snitching. But on the other hand, saying that DEFCON was Kanan's father only got her more respect in the streets. DEFCON went along with Kanan being his son because, as Rock would say, DEFCON was left-handed, and Rock was only his cover girlfriend, so nobody would find out that he was on the low. So this is why DEFCON claimed Kanan as his son. Before DEFCON went to prison, he was one of the biggest drug dealers in New York. Before Howard found out he was Kanan's father, he told Burke that DEFCON should be mentioned with Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes when it comes to New York drug dealers. So this is one big secret that Rock has been holding on to for about 16 years and doing whatever she got to do to make sure nobody finds out the truth, including sending Kanan to kill Howard when he found out that he was Kanan's real dad. So it's pretty much obvious that Rock was the one who gave Howard the information he used to send DEFCON to prison. Then after DEFCON was arrested, Rock and Howard were celebrating and Kanan was conceived. But Rock remained Howard's CI until 1976 and started being his CI in 1974. This makes me to ask the question, what caused Rock to become Howard's CI in the first place? Then keep in mind that Marvin was also running things at one point, but got busted and sent to do a bid at Elmira Correctional Facility. But keep this in mind, that Marvin claims he was set up, but Rock claims Marvin was busted because he was using his own product and was so high when the cops came, he offered to sell them a quarter. This makes me to wonder, was Marvin running things before DEFCON and Rock snitched on Marvin first? Or did he take over after DEFCON because Marvin told Kanan that he got into the game when he was only 12 years old? But with him only being a few years older than Rock, he most likely was running things after DEFCON because he had to be old enough to do a prison bid, not a bid in juvie. But I still wouldn't put it past Rock snitching on Marvin also. Then fast forward to 1985. The timeline of the show at the very beginning of Season 1, Episode 1. And at this point, Rock's man, High Post, was running things. But Kanan said that Post would be killed the same year for snitching. Since then, we also learned that Unique's brother Ronnie was running things before him and went to prison what was supposed to be for the rest of his natural life. I do believe Rock snitched on Ronnie and made it look like High Post was the one who snitched. Because once High Post was killed, Rock took over and has been running things ever since. Getting me to the current Raising Kanan timeline. And I got this broke down to the day. It is February 1st, 1992. I know this because before they did the drive-by on the Italian Mafia, one of the guys from the mob said that the Knicks beat Washington by 11. So I simply Googled that game, and on January 31st, 1992, the New York Knicks beat the Washington Bullets 125 to 114. And we know only one day has passed because when Rock told Lulu, "I own you," he mentioned yesterday when they did the drive-by. Also, another reference is "Today Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube was playing in the Trap House in the finale. And that song was released January 20th, 1992. So what is the significance of this date? 1985 to 1992 is 7 years that Rock has been running things. And if you look up the meaning of the number 7, it means completion. So I believe this season, Rock is going to have all the dirt she did to get to the top coming back at her. And there's a chance we see her get out the game, arrested, or even killed this season also. Getting me to the Thomas family secrets from the family as a whole, and specifically Rock's parents. At one point in season 1, Juke told Kanan, there's about this family that you don't know. Secrets you don't want to know. What secrets was Jukebox referring to? Because she didn't know Howard was Kanan's real father, or even that Rock was a CI who sent her dad to prison. So this tells me that there are even more skeletons buried in the closets of the Thomas family. There was also the conversation that Rock had with her cousin in Virginia when she went to pick up Kanan. She said Rock's mom talked about moving them down to Virginia before Marvin went to high school. But then there was that thing with Rock's mom and dad. What thing could she possibly been talking about? Because if they got divorced, she would have just said, then your parents got divorced. Or if the dad died, she would have just said, then your dad died. But nah, she said there was that thing, leaving us completely clueless to what happened, yet still knowing that something happened that is still to be revealed. We also know that Marvin told Rock in one conversation that he raised Rock and Lou when Mom and Pop were on there. So by the sound of things, if I was guessing, Rock's parents became dope fiends at one point. And I know back then, heroin was the drug of choice over cocaine. So it could have actually been DEFCON's people serving Rock's parents, and that's how she met DEFCON, and that could also be why she snitched on him. Rock's mother is still alive. We know that Rock bought her a nice house out of the way, and she is also a churchgoer. Rock visited her mother at church in episode 109 to give herself an alibi when Kanan shot Detective Howard. And while she was talking to her mother at church, she asked her, do you ever wonder why I grew up like I did? How I turned out this way? And her mother said, that's not on me. Also during this conversation, I noticed what looked like to be a scar on her mother's face, but I couldn't tell if that was just her makeup smeared or not. Other things we do know about Rock's parents was Rock's dad was a prize-fighting boxer who fought at the 145 weight class. He was also a jazz musician and a bootlegger. But Rock said still all he did didn't bring in enough money to make her mother happy. Also, one more thing before I go. Keep in mind that Ghost grew up without a mother. What is the chances that Ghost is Rock's son, and Ghost's father took him away from Rock to keep his son away from Rock's toxic family? Keep in mind that conversation that Rock and Jukebox had about Kenya abandoning Jukebox. Rock slipped up and told Jukebox that she can kind of relate, and it definitely looked like Rock could have been hiding something during that conversation as well. And there you have it. What do you think is some of the Thomas family secrets? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.